Hey there, Dean here. Now, for a long time, I used to think that negotiation was all about haggling and going back and forth trying to get the best deal. Don't get me wrong, though, I'm all for a good bargain. But over time, I realized that there's another way to approach this conversation, and it is not just about the numbers. There is a difference between haggling over price and really trying to understand what's going on beneath the surface. Now, we're not teaching here. It's more like me sharing some of the things that I've picked up along the way in my all 26 years of my sales and client management career. So let me tell you a story. There was a time I was all about the haggle. Well, that was earlier on in my career. Then there was this negotiations where the client and I were going back and forth over the price. Now I was pushing to maintain our rate and they wanted a huge discount. Now it kind of felt like one of those never ending games where, kind of each side keep inching a little more and neither one of us is really satisfied. Just picture this. I'm sitting across from the client and it's just a battle of numbers. They will say, hey, give us 30% off. And I would counter, we can't go more than 10%. Back and forth, back and forth. It's kind of like a tennis match over and over again. You know what I mean? So after hours of haggling, we landed somewhere in the middle. And it's kind of felt like we both lost something in the process. It was exhausting and we ended up with a deal that no one was really thrilled about. Now, after a few more rounds of this tug of war kind of negotiations, I started to wonder if there's a better way of doing things. So instead of focusing on the numbers, I thought, what if I try to understand why they're asking for a discount in the first place? And what was going on behind the scene that makes them so adamant? So the next time I was in a negotiation with them, I tried a different approach. I went in there with a different mindset. Now the client was pushing for a lower price again, and instead of digging in my heels, I asked them, what's the biggest challenge that you're facing now? What is the bottleneck? Now that questions open up the conversation in a whole new, different way. Imagine this. You are in a meeting and instead of just going back and forth over the price, you popped up and asked, what really is driving your need for a lower cost? Suddenly, your client starts talking about budget cuts, internal pressures, interdepartment conflicts. At that point, you are no longer two people going over numbers. You are two people looking at a solution, a shared solution for a shared problem. So what I've learned is that when you move beyond haggling and focus on understanding, you find so many more options and you're not just stuck to this rigid back and forth. Instead, you're exploring possibilities. And let me tell you, when a client feels heard and understood, they're way more likely to work with you to find that win-win solution. Now, there was another negotiation where my client wanted a significant price reduction. Now, instead of pushing back, I said, I get that the budgets are really tight, but what is it that we can do together to make this work for you without compromising too much on either side of our business? Now that shifted the whole vibe of the negotiation. We ended up agreeing on a staggered payment plan and a few value-added services which didn't cost us much. And that made them feel that they're getting a lot more. So over time, I tried to make this approach a habit. Now, when I go into a negotiation, I just think about what I want to get out of it and what really is that other person, what do they want and what do they need and why so? Now, this mindset shift has opened up a lot more opportunities for me and has helped me build longer and stronger relationships with my clients. Think about it like this. Instead of haggling over the last few dollars, right? You're saying, let's work together to find something that's going to be good for the both of us. Now, this changes the conversation, the energy of it. You're no longer the adversaries. You became partners. And that makes a huge difference, not just on one deal, but on the future deals too. So the next time you find yourself in a negotiation, maybe try moving away from the haggling. Ask a few more questions and try to understand what really is going on and see what happens. Well, it works wonderful for me and I believe it can for you too. So let me know if you have had any of the similar experiences in your own negotiations. I'd love to hear them. And if you're digging this content, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Stay rebellious, and I'll see you in the next video.